All right, let's get into it. Hey, welcome back to the party, everybody. Of course, my name is Jaren, and I'm so excited to be on here yet again for another live stream. I'm hopping on here tonight to talk to you guys, answer your questions, whatever you want to know, whatever you want to ask. Just go ahead, shoot it down in the comments. I see that there's already some people in here. Gavin the Geek, yo, 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 yo. What's up, man? Dimension Scott, of course. Thanks for always showing up. Stranger Boy, hello. How are you doing today? I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself? Nicholas Lloyd is in here. Lucas Blaylock, Dominic talks movies. What's up, everybody? If you haven't checked him out yet, go check out his channel. Subscribe. He's got awesome stuff over there. Um, yeah, I just figured, you know what? It's been a long time since I just hopped on here and I did a thing where I answered your questions. So why not for about the next hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes? You can throw all of your questions, your curious thoughts down below. Make the questions juicy, make them unique. I've answered a lot of stuff over and over and over again, like what is my favorite movie and all that stuff. So kind of differentiate the questions a little bit. Give me something that I've never seen before, unless of course you're new and you wouldn't know that. But I'm excited to get into this. So we've got some questions already. Let me just remove this and let's get into it. All right, so the first question is from Nicholas Lloyd. What's up, Jaren? Have you watched Ryan O'Toole's game show, Rotten or Fresh? I think I have seen a couple episodes, especially back when him and Colin were doing that podcast. I know that was a segment on there, and I enjoyed it for the most part. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember it was pretty fun, for sure. Lucas Blaylock, yo, 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 yo. Dimension Scott, guess what? I started my own YouTube channel. Yeah, I know, man. You told me when we actually did the WandaVision live stream, I remember you said that. Guys, make sure to go show him some support. It's always cool to support small creators and watch them grow. I'm still a small creator, so that's cool when we can kind of form a community and just show each other some support. Stranger Boy 101, favorite emoji? Uh, I I'm trying to think. Favorite would probably be just the standard laughing emoji. I'm a pretty basic guy. I use the laughing emoji with the squinted eyes. I've been using the red apostrophes, or not apostrophes, exclamation points a lot lately. Yeah, I use emojis, but I don't have like a wide variety of the ones I use. So I guess those. Nicholas Lloyd. Have you watched the television show Thomas the Tank Engine? My favorite childhood show. I'm pretty sure I watched a couple of those as a kid. I don't know many people who didn't watch it some point in their childhood. It's not one that I remember being a huge fan of, like watching all the time, but I guarantee you I watched some of them. Gavin says, favorite horror movie? I guess I'd have to go with The Shining. I love horror. Horror is like tied for my favorite genre, so there's a lot of them. It's kind of between The Shining and Halloween 1978. Thoughts on the Friday the 13th movies? So the first one's pretty good. I'd say my favorite of the bunch is actually the sixth one, just because of how over the top it is and actually embraces the camp for once. I think one's good. I think three is okay. The franchise as a whole, it was kind of mediocre, and eventually they really started to embrace it to the point where they went like above and beyond with the campiness of it, especially when he goes to New York and space and all that stuff. Like it got very overboard very, very quick. It's pretty cliche in a lot of ways, but at the same time it kind of set up the genre for those cliches. Like it established those cliches that we're so used to. But it's all right. It's not my favorite, but it's okay. I love this question, Gavin. Absolutely love it. Favorite movie nobody talks about? I'm just going to say Blind Spotting. Directed by Carlos Lopez Estrada. It came out in 2018. It stars Daveed Diggs, which if you're a fan of Hamilton, you know that he played Lafayette. This is such an amazing movie, in my opinion. It's him and his best friend starring in it. His best friend's Rafael Casal, and it's pretty much a movie about a white and a black man. They're best friends, but a lot of the dialogue is around. It's kind of like they're writing music, and the dialogue is spoken and almost like spoken word poetry in a way, or just like borderline rap. But it's very poetic in the way that you can see their bond as friends, but also dealing with a lot of the constraints and difficulties of being an interracial friendship. Things that would come with, like dealing with the differences between the two when it comes to how one person is treated against the other, but at the same time, it's a great way of like showing how people can actually come together. A lot of times I feel like I love Spike Lee's stuff, but a lot of times I feel like his stuff is kind of standing up on a soapbox and preaching more than kind of seeing it from both sides and having a message that brings people together. But in this case, I feel like this was such a great movie about unity, but it's also just a lot of fun. It's funny. It's got, like, one of the cool things about the movie is that when it was released, they released two separate EPs to go along with it. Based on both characters, they had all these recorded songs to go along with their characters. Just brilliant, but like nobody saw it. Who did see it, they really like it, but not a ton of people saw it at all. But that's a great question. Dimension says, my first question is, how would you score your excitement for the Snyder Cut being only 8 days away? Can you believe it? It's hard to believe, man, because this is something that we fought for a long time. There's been a ton of petitions and just amping up for this movie, and it's finally happening. Some thought it would never happen, but it's surfacing. Like you said, 8 days away. My excitement level is pretty high. I definitely still think that there will probably be a ton of flaws with the movie. There's going to be a lot of issues. That's just, honestly, you can come to expect that with Zack Snyder stuff. Even though I like Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, they still have their issues, and I'm not afraid to say that. So definitely with the movie being 4 hours, it both gives the possibility for more problems, but it also gives the possibility for more things to be fleshed out and developed to the point where there could be less. I'm really excited for this just because we're finally seeing a full vision from a filmmaker who's been wanting to make this movie, who has been visioning this movie to happen for so long. We're finally getting it. I'm pretty excited. I guess on a scale of 1 to 10, my excitement level is honestly like an 8.5. It's pretty high. My favorite Friday the 13th movie is the final chapter. That's a great one, man. That's really good. You can invite any 3 movie characters to dinner. Who do you invite? That's such a hard question because it depends. What kind of conversation am I trying to have? I guess it's weird because, okay, you know what? I'll say Red from Shawshank Redemption because obviously he's got such a great story to tell. Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna say Peter Parker. Peter Parker. He's a comic book character, but you know what? Peter Parker. And then a third character, I gotta go with, it'd be interesting. Vincent Vega from Pulp Fiction. That's a very odd mix of people. None of them are alike in any way possible, but it's kind of hard. The movies I like, none of the characters necessarily are the same. You know what? Okay, I'll take out Vincent Vega and I'll put in Andrew Neiman from Whiplash. Just because I was a drummer, I wanted to pursue some sort of career in music before I got into movies. And so that's one of the movies that got me into filmmaking. Like 2014 in general was the movie that got me into cinema in general. Nightcrawler, Whiplash, they're both in my top 3. So I'd definitely say let's invite Andrew Neiman. Let's talk about his struggle. Let's talk about his work ethic. Lucas Blaylock, do you think the Snyder Cut has the potential to be as good as one of the Avenger films? A movie like this always has the potential. Do I think it's going to be as good? Yeah, possibly. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the first Avengers movie. I definitely could see it being better than that. I don't like comparing the two universes. This is like a normal feud on Twitter. I see people are choosing between the Avengers and Justice League. They're two different groups of superheroes. Obviously, they've always been competing rivals when it comes to box office and when it comes to the comic ranks, but I like them each for their own thing. Honestly, I think the characters are better in the Justice League, but I always root for a movie like this to do well. So I hope that it has the potential to be as good as one of the Avengers films. I hope it's better, because why not? That'd just be great for everybody. How many Blu-rays do you have? I don't know exactly, not since the last time I counted, which I lost count from my last Blu-ray collection I did, but I hope to actually have a new Blu-ray collection out by summer or right before it. I've got some more that I want to pick up, obviously, as well as I have some people borrowing a few, so I want to get all of those back before I count. I know I've got close to 400, I think. I could be way off It's definitely more than 250. I'd say it's over 300. I think it's close to 400. Almost Sideways. What's up, Adam? How's it going? Thank you for joining. What's a movie that really challenged your beliefs that you appreciated? Also need to get you on the podcast YouTube channel ASAP. Of course, man. I'd love to be on. That's a great question. What's a movie that challenged my beliefs? That's whew, that's a really hard question. Um, Dang, you're dropping a heater. That's a loaded question. Challenge my beliefs. Okay, I was thinking immediately. I think about religion. Obviously, I don't think any movie when it comes to religion has done that necessarily. I think one that maybe comes close is First Reformed. Not necessarily that challenged my beliefs, but it made me think of things from a different perspective because obviously it deals with things like uh caring about the environment and how politics and worldviews have a place in religion and Christianity and stuff like that. And especially when you're dealing with the character, a priest who was very, very conflicted in those things and started getting challenged on things that he had always just believed. And it made him start to think differently to the point he got crazy. Now, obviously, I never went to the extent of him, but yeah, it makes you think how some things have a place in the same space as each other. I don't know if I'm making any sense by saying that, but I guess First Reformed is one. Silence is another from Martin Scorsese. There's a couple, but I don't necessarily know if it's in the way that you're asking because that's a hard one to answer. I don't know if I've actually had that sort of encounter. Um, I did a crappy job at answering that question, but hopefully you got something from that. Maybe not. Oh well. Did you see the movie The Founder with Michael Keaton? Yeah, it's a movie about the guy who founded McDonald's. Obviously, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I actually watched it twice because the first time I fell asleep halfway through, but it was just late, so I wanted to give it a fair chance. Watched it again. It was okay. I felt like it was a little bland at times, uneventful, but there was moments like when it had its peak moments. It was really, really good. Not my favorite from Keaton, but I can see why a lot of people enjoy it. Have you heard about the leaks on the Snyder Cut? Yeah, so if you guys aren't aware, if you click on a couple days ago to watch the mouse and the cat fight on HBO Max, Tom and Jerry, you could have gotten the last 2 hours of Snyder Cut. I'm glad I wasn't one of those few. I'm glad I only have to watch that movie once and never go back to Tom and Jerry again. But yeah, I heard about it. That's funny. I don't even see how that happens, but I guarantee whoever did that lost their job. Favorite Sam Raimi movie? It's either I'll go with Evil Dead. I'll go with the entire Evil Dead franchise. It's hard for me not to pick Spider-Man, but Evil Dead, it's just I love the way it mixes comedy with horror. It's absolutely hilarious. The whole idea of how it sparked of just him and his friends making a movie out in a cabin in the woods. Such a low budget, but at the same time, it's like it was such a passion project, and it's also an example that anyone can make a movie. You just got to go out and do it. I love all the practical effects, the practicality of it all. There's some shots that are very, very unique, especially when he's like stepping over the camera. The way that they did that back in the day, like it seems very technologically advanced in that time period. There's a lot of great filmmaking here. Obviously, it's so many hints at what Raimi can do. I'm really excited for Doctor Strange 2. That's going to be great. Why is TASM 2 your favorite Spider-Man movie? Why am I surprised? Why am I surprised somebody asked this question? I just love the movie, man. It's the one that ever since I saw it back in 2014, I saw it in theaters a couple times, but I just remember being really, really impressed. For the longest time, I actually blended in with people saying, I hate this movie. It's no good. But I didn't know in the back of my mind why I was saying it because I didn't feel it. I like Max As cheesy as he is, I think that was the point. I like how they played into that cheese. I think Electro was good. The Hans Zimmer score is absolutely amazing, especially Electro's theme, but really just the entire thing overall. I don't like Dane DeHaan, therefore I don't like the Green Goblin in this movie, the Harry plotline at all. I think that's garbage. I will say that. I'm not afraid to admit it. But when it comes to the suit, I think it's the best ever. When it comes to the web slinging, I think it's the best ever. For once, this is the biggest moment I feel like that it showed that being a superhero, putting certain people in those situations comes with consequences. We first saw it in the first Amazing Spider-Man when Gwen Stacy's father said, don't include her in this. Keep her separate. Stay away from her because I don't want my daughter hurt. And then after she got back in the picture in this one, it ended with her losing her life as well. So I felt like that was such, to me, that's the best moment in any Spider-Man movie. I'll stand by that. It's definitely the most heartbreaking moment. I just felt like it was so rewarding to be a Spider-Man fan and watch that movie. I also love Andrew Garfield, both as Spider-Man, as Peter Parker. I think he gets way too much hate, and I can't wait till the day that people come around on that more. I'm gonna keep beating that bush. I'm gonna die on that hill that I am a fan. But you know what? What are you gonna do? Gavin says, favorite album. Okay. I'm a big fan of rap music. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm very picky when it comes to my rap music though, because I like the kind that's storytelling. I don't like it that's necessarily a ton of language or just kind of profanity for no reason. I like the music that takes you on a journey. Therefore, I'd say that my favorite rap album is 2014 Forest Hills Drive from J. Cole. I absolutely love it. Every track of that song is great in my opinion. I also love jazz music, so I can throw on the Whiplash score anytime. I can throw on the Soul score anytime, the Tenet score. That's not jazz, but what I've been listening to a lot recently is just a ton of film scores, especially stuff that came out in 2020. There was a great selection of film scores, but yeah, I like jazz music, I like rap, I like film scores. Of course, I like some Christian music too. I'm a little picky with it today because I don't think it's as good as it used to be. Some of it's a little too mainstream, a little too surface level for me, but there's a lot of stuff out there. Really, anything you put on, I'm going to listen to it. But I guess my favorite album overall has to be, like I said, 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Have you heard of these actors from the classic Hollywood age? Humphrey Bogart, James Stewart, Katharine Hepburn, or Judy Garland? Okay, Judy Garland, obviously. Wizard of Oz is a classic. Katharine Hepburn, yes. James Stewart, of course. James Stewart is one of my favorite actors, actually. You look at It's a Wonderful Life is in my top 5 of all time. I have to think out the place of where I want to put it, but it's great. That Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Philadelphia, Rope, Rear Window. The guy was in so many amazing movies. He's also in one of my favorite Western movies. The guy who shot Liberty Valance with what's his name? Why can't I think of this guy's name? The famous Western dude. Famous Western actor. I'm totally blanking on his name. I gotta look this up just for my sanity. The man who shot Liberty Valance. Y'all are gonna laugh at me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot the name of John Wayne. John Wayne. That movie. Humphrey Bogart. I believe he's from Casablanca, right? I haven't seen that movie. Katharine Hepburn. I think that's Breakfast at Tiffany's. Possibly. I think so. Are you still going to do the Amazing Spider-Man 2 watch along? Yeah, possibly. It'll probably be midsummer or something like that. We just had a lot of scheduling conflictions, so we had to move it back a little bit. Eddie S is in here. What's up, Jaren? Thank you so much for joining, man. I really appreciate that. It's always cool to have you in here. I saw Godzilla 98 today. Have you seen that one? I haven't seen any of the classic ones. They look like a ton of cheesy fun. I was planning on doing like a binge like the week of Godzilla vs. Kong, just to kind of get myself a little more knowledgeable on the character and its origins. Those movies look like a ton of fun. Thoughts on Dog with the Blog? I think I watched that show for a couple weeks because I knew that it was the guy from Lemonade Mouth, which is a very underrated Disney Channel original movie. Go check it out if you haven't. But I didn't stick around for a while. Favorite M. Night Shyamalan film? Ooh. I'm going to go with Unbreakable. I think that's my favorite superhero film outside Marvel and DC. But I also love Split. The Visit was a great return to form for M. Night Shyamalan. I like The Village. I like, of course, Signs, The Sixth Sense. Really, it's hard to pick a favorite. I'll go with Unbreakable right now, but I'm a very big advocate for M. Night Shyamalan and the films that he makes. Favorite TV show? Mine's Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I have a favorite sitcom, which is Friends. As you can see, right here, I've even got a Friends trivia game. I've got a ton of Friends memorabilia. That was the first show that I ever got hooked on that I was able to binge like over and over and over again. But my favorite show outside of the sitcom genre is Mindhunter, which is actually from David Fincher. It's a Netflix original. They made 2 seasons of it. Left it at the end to where they could easily set up a 3rd season and more, because when you're dealing with serial killers, there's so many you can explore. There's such a wide catalog, but David Fincher, of course, took a break to go work on some more movies. That's how we got Mank and some other projects that he's doing soon. I really hope he returns to do more of that because it's an amazing show. Favorite pizza topping? I gotta go with cheese. But I'll make it a little fancy. I like feta cheese. I don't know if you guys like feta cheese. It's one of those things where you kind of love it or hate it. I'm a huge fan of feta cheese on a pizza, especially you mix it with you mix sharp cheddar, feta cheese, and then maybe even goat cheese. That's a great pizza. I also like pineapple on my pizza. Sue me. Stranger Boy says, I would invite Chucky, Nitro, Libre, and Austin Powers to dinner. So at least one of you will make it out alive. None of those will be Nacho Libre, Austin Powers, or Stranger Boy. That's such a weird mix, but again, it's hard. It's hard to pick like a group of 3 that have any similarities when you're talking about movie characters. Oldest movie you've watched? Mine is The Great Train Robbery from 1902. You know what? I think the oldest movie I might have watched is Wizard of Oz. What year did Wizard of Oz come out? 1939? Because then It's a Wonderful Life is after that. I think I'm going to go with Wizard of Oz. I think it's Wizard of Oz. You said juicy, huh? Oh, did I? That's funny. Patrick Bro, what's up, man? Do you still hate baked beans for brekkie? They're the best, Sharon. Just accept it. Admit it. You know I'm right, my friend. I never actually said I hated them. I just said it was a weird concept. I have yet to try them. I need to try them, and I'm going to, because I'm not going to be someone who craps on something without even giving it a try myself. I'll normally crap on it a little bit, but then I'll always try it. I just haven't actually had the chance to sit down and eat them yet. I still think you're weird, Patrick. I'll stand by that, but being normal is boring, so weird is okay. I'll forgive it. Least favorite movie you own? This is a hard question because honestly, every movie I own, I buy it because I like it. I take that back. I'm just going to go with, is it backwards? It's backwards. Cinderella 2 and 3, because I actually haven't seen these. I just got these to fulfill my Disney Plus, or not my Disney Plus, my Disney Movie Club commitment. It's open, but I think I just gave the digital code to my family. I haven't seen either of these movies. I didn't even know they made a 3rd one. So I guess I'll go with that, just by default. Have you checked out the brand new Superman and Lois yet? It's really good. I haven't watched episode 3. I just watched episode 2. I actually threw up a poll on my Twitter asking if you guys wanted me to do weekly recaps of the episodes. I would do some catch up for the ones that I missed, but the show so far is so good. I think stepping outside of the Arrowverse formula is doing very, very well for it, because actually the graphics are good. The guy who they have playing Superman, he fits the role very, very well. So I can't wait to check out episode 3. Let me know if you'd like to see reviews of the show on my channel, because I'll definitely do that. Favorite show growing up? I'm trying to remember, because I watched a lot of stuff that was So this is gonna sound weird to you guys, and the more I think about it, I'm actually surprised that they didn't include this in WandaVision. I think one of my favorite shows was honestly Leave It to Beaver, which came out in like the '60s. It's a black and white sitcom show. But my parents are older, so they kind of showed me that stuff all the time. And there was a time way back, it was on Netflix. Every single season was on Netflix. So I would come home every day from school and sit down and watch Leave It to Beaver until I went to bed. That was definitely my favorite show. Yeah, no, that makes sense, bro. Silence is a good one. That was done really well. Yeah, absolutely. Silence. That's a very underrated Scorsese film too. Have you heard of the movie Meet Me in St. Louis? You're asking a lot of movies, or you're asking a lot of questions about classical movies. I like that. I've heard of the movie. I actually haven't seen it. Maybe I should check it out. Any film that you watched and then it clicked that you wanted to become a film critic? Hmm. I guess I'll say the movie that I actually sat down and did my first review, Us, back March of 2019. So yeah, I'm actually coming up on 2 years on YouTube. That was my first review. Don't go watch it. I mean, you can go watch it, I guess, but don't cringe too hard. Don't laugh at me too hard. I took the risk. You know, you got to start somewhere. That's the movie that I saw, and I was just like, I got to talk about this because I remember coming out and it was so polarizing. People were on opposite ends of the spectrum because they were going and expecting to love it just like Get Out, but so many people hated it. So many people loved it, and I felt like I had a very unpopular opinion, so I just hit record. Um, so the movie that made me love cinema, Nightcrawler. The movie that got me into film criticism, Us. In a zombie, okay, I like this question. In a zombie apocalypse, would you rather be with somebody who's smart but can't use a gun, or with somebody who can use a gun really good but they're dumb? LOL. Definitely the one who can use a gun really good. I mean, they'll probably still be smarter than the zombies we're facing. So if they can at least help navigate through, I mean, I think they're my best option. Hello there. What's the most underrated Star Wars quote? I think I don't like sand gets a little too much hate. No, I'm not serious about that. Honestly, I'm not like a huge Star Wars fan, so I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'm gonna look up one from Rogue One that I'm thinking of. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I know there's one in Rogue One that I really liked. Rogue One quotes. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is the one. Yeah, it's from Darth Vader. Be careful not to choke on your aspirations. I just thought that was really cool. Especially number one, I was freaking out when Darth Vader showed up. But then I thought, that was very clever. Very clever. So I'll go with that. I just don't think anybody talks enough about Rogue One in general. Um, how many breaks are you planning to take during the Snyder Cut? Zero. One tops. I think I can make it through. I made it through watching Avengers Endgame without any breaks. It's only about 30 minutes longer, so I should be okay. What's an underrated director in my opinion? That's a good question. Underrated director. I'm going to go with Frank Darabont. I don't know if he's underrated, but I feel like he's a name that people don't throw around a lot. He made a lot of okay movies after, of course, The Green Mile and The Shawshank Redemption. But when you hear about people talk about The Shawshank Redemption or The Green Mile, they never say that movie Frank Darabont made. It's always that movie starring Morgan Freeman or that movie starring Tom Hanks. Um, regardless, I think Frank Darabont's just somebody I want to see make more movies. Um, that's a really hard question though. I'm sure there's others that I can't think of right now. Um, have you seen Hereditary, directed by Ari Aster? Absolutely, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Absolutely well done, and Toni Collette was snubbed for the Oscar. How do you cope with being a Browns fan? It's actually a really good feeling. Like, I wake up every day and I say, thank the Lord I'm a Browns fan. And I'm able to get up out of bed and go about my day. So actually, it's really fun. Just kidding. In all honesty, who do you think could play the next James Bond? Henry Cavill's free now. Sign him up. Let Henry Cavill do it. I think Richard Madden's good. Idris Elba's good. I'm naming like 3 of the most common ones. I'm thinking about who else could play him. I've said this before. I've thrown this out there. Aaron Taylor Johnson. Is that a stretch? Maybe. But I'd like to see it. Did you see the OG RoboCop? Yeah, I did. I really like that movie, actually. I don't like the remake as much, but I also don't think the remake is terrible. But RoboCop is pretty fun. It's a pretty cheesy good time. Dominic talks movies. J. Cole is amazing, but I'm a Kendrick Lamar stan. In my opinion, To Pimp a Butterfly is perhaps the best album of the 2010s. That's debatable. That's very arguable as well. That's a great point. It's definitely a good album. Kendrick Lamar is great. I like one of my favorite songs with Kendrick Lamar is when he's that song with Anderson .Paak, which Anderson .Paak is probably like my favorite artist at the moment. Him and Bruno Mars made that album. They're collaborating on Silk Sonic. Leave the Door Open is a great single that came out recently. But yeah, that was a good song. What film do you think deserves a remake? I can't say I have any one specifically, but I guess one that at the time didn't have enough audience, didn't have enough of a budget, or was just released in a time to where people didn't receive it. Not a ton of people saw it. It's got a small audience. There's arguments for The Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's honestly make an Atlantis live action movie, something like that. Just something that didn't get the credit or recognition it deserves in the first place. Don't go making Back to the Future or any of these classic blockbusters that we already love the original. Those don't need a remake. Make something that was underseen, undervalued. Favorite Golden Age Hollywood movie? Golden Age Hollywood. I'm just going to look it up because I don't want to butcher the Golden Age. Golden Age Hollywood movies. Okay. Honestly, The Wizard of Oz might be my pick. Or it's got to be It's a Wonderful Life. If that's considered Golden Age Hollywood. Okay, so the Golden Age of Hollywood is 1915 to 1963. I'm absolutely going It's a Wonderful Life. That's my pick. One of my favorite movies of all time. I wasn't quite sure what the Golden Age was, so I needed to check on that. What do you use to make your thumbnails? I'm giving away my secrets. PixArt. It's just a phone app. People think I use Photoshop and stuff like that. I've tried. I can't figure out Photoshop. I can use the very simple features. PixArt is where it's at. Once you master it, you can make actually very, very high quality stuff. It's served me well for quite a while. I think people enjoy my thumbnails. So yeah, check out PixArt if you haven't yet. Are you still going to make a video about your favorite movie of all time? I've got some plans in the works for that. Not just necessarily my favorite movie, but my favorite movies. I'm trying to think, should I do a top 10 list, top 30, top 50? I have to really nail down my list first, but I'm definitely thinking about it, especially more recently. What is your favorite so bad it's good movie? Laugh all you want, but I have a crazy love for Cats, the infamous 2019 musical. 2019 helmed 2 of those amazing movies, both Cats and what's that movie with The Fan? Was that what it was called? The Fanatic. The Fanatic. With John Travolta. That one was a really good one. Another movie I watched recently that's so bad, like it's not the greatest, Fever Pitch. I watched that actually right before the stream. It stars Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore. It's bad. It's bad for romantic comedy. It's bad for the genre. It's bad for just filmmaking in general. There's nothing special about it. The pacing's all off, but at the same time, it's got a charm and heart that I really, really enjoy. I have to keep going back to it. What celebrities have you met? I've met Jeff Goldblum, Darcy Lynn, Joe Biden, and I've seen Chris Evans. Um, I've met some baseball players you guys wouldn't know. I've met the writer of Willy's Wonderland, if that counts. Um, yeah. I think I've met some others. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you call a celebrity. If I have to say that, they're probably not very big celebrities. But, anyways, um, can you do a top 30 favorite movies of all time? Okay, so top 30. There's a vote for top 30. Do I have a vote for top 10 or top 50? Let me know. Brock up. Cody Brock up is in here. The Brock up side. What's up, Home Skillet? How's it going, bro? I hope you're doing very well. Favorite condiment? Mayonnaise, ketchup, or mustard? Definitely mayonnaise. Is it more satisfying to make poo poo or pee pee? Poo poo all the way, bro. Poo poo all the way. What hot take can you tell us besides TASM 2 and Andrew Garfield's Spidey? Recently, one hot take that I said that really is making people upset on Twitter is that I enjoy the Martha scene in Batman vs Superman. I think it serves it well, but that in that moment, obviously, it's just known fact that both of the characters, their mom's name is Martha. But in that situation, when Batman's about to pummel Superman and he's about to kill him and do the things that he swore he would never do because he's so angry, he comes to that realization. He sees himself as the person who killed his mother. He sees himself as his mother's killer when Superman calls out that name. It gives him a flashback of that moment, the moment that made him become who he is today. And so he has regret, and instantly he gets angry because he hears the name, but at the same time he becomes sad and aware that what he's doing is wrong. A lot of people have an issue with that. They say it's bad writing. Maybe you think so too, but for me it really, really worked. Have you ever written a script? If not, what genre would yours be? I have to go with a murder mystery. I might even write a script. I have a great idea. Dude, go for it. And seriously, give me updates as you write it because I would totally read it. I think you have that in you for sure. I've never written a script. Like, I've written video essay outlines, but that doesn't count. If I had to write a script, though, it'd be a psychological thriller. I really, really love those movies. Sometimes I think they're more effective than horror movies. Definitely psychological thriller or horror movie, actually. I've got a lot of ideas. It's just hard to put pen to paper sometimes, but maybe in the future. Do you have any thoughts on Birdman? Great film. Honestly, I'm not a fan of it. Maybe this is another hot take. I think it's one of the most pretentious movies I've ever seen. And I know it's purposely telling a story about a bunch of pretentious characters, but at the same time, I just couldn't get into it. It's just not for me. I think filmmaking, when you look at it technically, it achieves so much. Alejandro Inarritu is such a good filmmaker. I will give him that. He's got the chops, obviously. The whole simulated one take is great. It's got a great cast. It just didn't do it for me personally. Favorite movie so bad it's good. I answered this earlier, but I have to say right now probably Fever Pitch. Thoughts on The Prince of Egypt? I don't want to say too much right now because I plan on doing a favorite animated movie video soon. It's up there. Prince of Egypt is one of my favorites. Have you ever considered doing more vlog style videos? I have considered that. Actually, I put up some polls on my Instagram. Just follow me at Jaren Talks. Pretty much asking, there's 3 questions I asked. What made you subscribe to me in the first place? What content would you like to see from me? And also, what do you think I can improve on? So if you want to go over there and leave all these suggestions, I'm definitely considering these. And I'm asking what you'd like to see so I can do it. I want to do more things like I plan on doing like a movie room tour. If you guys would like to see that. It's hard to go to the theater right now. And Blu-ray, a lot of the Blu-rays are going straight to online. Like Best Buy is clearing all that out. So it's hard to do those type of vlogs. But I definitely want to make more personal content soon. I'm making a short horror film. I don't know if you've made any short films, but any advice? I haven't made any short films, so I don't know how well my advice is. But just go into it with passion. Have fun. Be experimental, but not overly experimental. I will say that that's one thing I've noticed with a ton of short films is that people have a tendency to use an overabundance of different angles and cuts. Sometimes being more simple and simplistic gives more depth and dynamics to the story than adding a ton of cuts, making people constantly jarred and having to readjust to what's going on. Cutting can be very, very cool. Obviously, it's very unique, but I mean, just do whatever serves your story the best. I guess that's what I can give. That's my advice from somebody who's never done it before. I envy you, man, because um, I mean, it's one thing to critique movies, it's another thing to go shoot it. I always say that. It's one thing to talk about them and how they could be better. It's another thing to go out there and try to make one yourself. So I really applaud you for that. That's awesome. Nicholas Lloyd says, favorite scene in Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. Um, one of the scenes in Man of Steel is obviously when he sees his father just kind of sacrifice himself in the storm. I know that's early on. Batman vs Superman, the warehouse scene is great. I think the whole sequence with Superman's death is good. Like I said, I like the Martha scene. Um, I like the Grandma's peach teeth scene. People are laughing at Holly Hunter because she kind of sticks around on that moment. She kind of just sits there very quiet for a long time. But at the same time, I think it works because she knows something's about to happen. I love those movies to death. So I could pick out a lot of scenes that I really, really like. Thoughts on Elon Musk wanting to send Tom Cruise to space for a movie? I could see a movie like that getting biggest box office, yes, more than Endgame if theaters recover. I think it's cool, but I don't understand the purpose for it. I guess it's just to have a movie in space. They could also have such good visual effects because Elon Musk is so rich. They could pay for such good visual effects that they could say they went to the moon in space, and we would never know the difference. I mean, some people still think that Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing. Who knows? We don't know unless there's like a ton of documented footage. If it was to happen, yeah, I definitely think that that's going to be the biggest spectacle of all time. But it's not necessary. I don't think it's necessary. Overrated director. I struggle to connect with Kubrick personally. That's hard for me. I will say that Kubrick, I like less of his stuff. Like there's only a couple movies from him I like. Like the majority of the stuff I think is overhyped or just it's not for me. Um Overrated director. That's hard. Um Maybe this is a hot take, but I'll say uh Guillermo del Toro. He's just not for me, man. It's hard to say overrated because I feel like every director serves film is subjective. It's not objective. Every director serves a purpose for a certain film fan. Certain people are gonna like their stuff more than others. I think Guillermo del Toro. I can't say his name. Um, I think he's a great director. Obviously competent. He's won awards. He's just never been able to connect with me. Um, have you tried VR? Thoughts if you have. Yeah, I got a crappy VR headset from Walmart one time, and I tried all the horror apps that I could use, like where they creep up behind me. I thought it was pretty cool. I just haven't gotten a good enough quality one to really go back to it. I want to get. I think you got the Oculus Quest. Is that what it's called? Dude, that thing was awesome. I love how you made a video kind of like explaining your experience. That was really, really cool. So yeah, I've tried VR a little bit. I've dabbled in it, I guess you could say. But I didn't have like the best experience, but I also didn't have the best quality VR headset. I definitely revisit it. Are there any movies you can memorize the entire script of? For me, I have Big Hero 6. I can remember every single line from that movie. Probably probably Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at this point. I watched it so many times. That's one recently. Nightcrawler is up there. I don't think I could say every word, but all the big scenes I can quote the biggest moments, the highlights. Um that's cool though. When you can watch a movie that many times that you know it inside and out, that's a great feeling. That's how you know you're a true fan of the movie. Have you heard of The Devil's Advocate? Yeah, I really like that movie. Verse both Pacino, Keanu Reeves. One of Keanu Reeves' better performances because it's more dramatic and more subdued. I think he takes himself more seriously in that role, and I actually like it. Obviously, it made sense, and it was cool that they were theorizing that Al Pacino would possibly play Mephisto. Because, I mean, he's already played a devilish character, but he's played the devil before. So that would have been cool if he did pop up. Obviously, he didn't. Um, but yeah, that's a great movie. This is... People keep asking me this question. I'm tired of it, man. Like, seriously, I can't go anywhere with people stopping me on the street being like, what's it like being Tom Holland's brother? Honestly, it sucks, man. I only get the small roles in his movies. Cherry, I played a stinking drug dealer. I can't tell you what I'm playing in Spider-Man No Way Home yet. I can't tell you about that, but it's not great. I'm the third wheel everywhere. Sometimes the fifth wheel, fourth wheel, sixth wheel. What is this, a bus? I'm whatever that is. It's not fun. People don't even know my name. They just say Tom Holland's brother. How does that feel? Not great. That's what I'll say. Karen Langer, have you seen Zack Snyder's teaser for the Snyder Cut, and are you excited for it? Absolutely. It was amazing. Which teaser? Because there's been a bunch recently. This has been the week of teasers, but I think the promotion material for this movie has been great. Absolutely outstanding. I've had a blast with it. I'm definitely excited for it. Like I said earlier, I think I'm like an 8.5 out of 10, possibly a 9. The hype is real. When you did your video on the Marvel movie breakdown post Disney Investor Day, I laughed at the "It's so beautiful" part. Which one? I'm pretty sure I probably said that a couple times, but yeah. That was a fun stream. That was a really fun stream because I had a lot of people come in. I met a lot of new people that stream as well. There's a lot of making fun of some people. There's a lot of celebrating. There was a lot of screaming and also just kind of crying in my hands. It was a great time though. It was a fun time to be a Disney fan for sure. Golden Age is pretty much 30s, 60s. Yeah, okay. I'll have to remember that. Favorite original Universal Monster movie? Mine is The Invisible Man. That's mine as well. I actually have a super nice steelbook. People ask me what my favorite steelbook is. It's the original Invisible Man. It's actually over there. Otherwise, I'd show it to you. But it's really, really cool. It's got a slipcover too. It's like a clear slipcover. I really like it. What's the funniest hate comment you've gotten? Funny. Honestly, I've got to say I've been blessed to not have a ton of hate comments, but I guess the funny ones are always just somebody watching any of my videos calling me a Sean Chandler copy or a Chris Stuckman copy. Like, you're so much like Chris Stuckman. Why do you have to review this movie? Just because I review a movie doesn't mean I'm like Chris Stuckman. Is my delivery the same? Is my layout the same? No. There's other people in the movie community. In fact, it's a very saturated community. If you compare me to them, that's like, I don't know what that's like. He didn't invent the wheel, okay? I'm just making a review. So I guess those make me chuckle. They're also sort of frustrating, but at the same time, it's just, what can you expect? Those are people who are very established and successful in the platform, so of course you're going to get comparisons. Do you play video games? If so, what is your favorite game? My favorite game, I'll stand by this, is NCAA Football 14. They're coming back with those NCAA games soon. They just had to work out a contract with the players and the College Football Association. But I definitely love sports games. I'm still waiting to get a PlayStation 5 so I can play games like Spiderman and all that stuff because I missed out. I want to play Spiderman, The Last of Us, all that stuff, the kind of the storytelling games. But at the moment, I'm a huge fan of sports games. So NBA 2K, Madden, NCAA, they're all the same. They're very repetitive, but I still enjoy them. I guess just because I'm a big sports fan as well. I just watched your Us review, and wow, a lot has changed. I guess if you want to talk about like progression and seeing someone get somewhat better over the course of their YouTube career, I guess you could definitely see a difference between the Us review and now. I'm still very cringy. That hasn't gone away. I'm just a more mature cringe now, I guess you could say. My cheeks are a little thinner, but it was bad. It was bad. What do your family or your friends and family think of your channel? They're all incredibly supportive. They bought my merch. They talk about it all the time. They call me Jaren the movie guy. So every time I go to a family gathering, it's literally the first question they ask is there anything new out? What should I watch? Have you seen anything good lately? They think it's cool that I get early access for stuff, even though I tell them that it's not like a huge deal. and that once you're kind of in the business, it's easy to do. They're still freaking out. And I'm like, I only have 1,200 something subscribers, which I'm appreciative for every single one of those, but I'm not like a Sean Chandler or something. But it's cool. They're very, very supportive. Nobody ever made fun of me. I was afraid early on. I actually hid it from people that I did it because I was like, people are going to laugh. Some people who don't know me laugh more than the people who know me. People who know me realize that it's a passion of mine to have fun with it. They think I'm good at it. That's really cool. The only downside about it is when they want to watch my videos on their big TV right in front of me. I hate that. I hate it so much. But it's okay for the most part. What are some horror comedy movies you like? Cabin in the Woods is good. I'd say Get Out is somewhat of a comedy. Like, it's got, of course, hilarious moments in it. I think Drag Me to Hell from Sam Raimi. It's got some funny moments in it as well. The Visit is up there. Horror comedies. You could say all of the Evil Dead movies. That's what they are. That's pretty much their genre is horror comedy. Yeah, those are a couple. Was Geo Parsons as nice as it seemed in your interview? Absolutely. Yeah, we chatted a bit. He greeted me first. He's like, "Hey, Jaren, what's up, man? I'm so excited to be doing this. Thank you for having me." And I was like, "This guy's down to earth." I was so nervous beforehand, and then as soon as it started, I was like, "Okay, I can handle this." He's just a regular guy, and it's cool to see somebody who's so humble in their craft, even when they've gotten some level of popularity like that. But yeah, the guy was super nice. That was an amazing first interview to have. Do you have a sequel in mind you wish had never been made? Recently, Coming to America. If you guys saw my review on that, I don't think it served any purpose because it was just a rehash on the original, but half the quality. So I definitely think that that's one that didn't need to be made whatsoever. Um, Trying to think of more sequels. There's definitely some out there. I guess Cars 2 definitely didn't need to be made. That's probably the worst sequel of all time. One of the worst sequels of all time. Um, Alien 3 is really bad, but I can almost forgive it because there's a lot of stuff that happened, and there's a version of that story that I wish could have been told. So those are a couple of them. Terminator Genesis. That movie sucked. There's a lot of bad sequels out there, sadly. Okay, top 50. Top 50. Okay, so these people want a top 50. I might have to just get on work or... Ugh. I need a drink. I might need to get to work on that. I might need to finish my list, craft it, perfect it, so I can make a video for you guys. Because I've wanted to. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. If TASM 3 ever happens, should Mark Webb return? Absolutely. I think he should. Just fulfill his entire vision. Except this time, don't let the studio interfere. Let him tell his story because he's great at telling his own personal stories. He's great at expressing relationships and all this stuff. Obviously, there was deleted scenes in TASM 2 where Shailene Woodley came in as Mary Jane Watson. She was going to be Mary Jane Watson in the third one. But at the time, they were trying to build up this entire Sinister Six storyline, and they didn't have everything fleshed out enough for it to make sense, and it got canceled. But I definitely think that if they were to approach that, definitely bring him back. Or have Sam Raimi come in. That'd be odd, but I think it might work. It's hard to tell. Thoughts on Stephen King's Carrie, including the remake? I think the original is good. I'm actually a fan of the remake. Chloe Grace Moretz, really good. I was surprised at how much I liked it. Maybe that's a hot take. Maybe people think it's really bad. At the time now I haven't seen it in quite a while, but the time I saw it, I was impressed. I was impressed with how much I liked it. Favorite scene in Pulp Fiction? Well, obviously you have I like the opening scene where they're talking about the Royale with cheese, just because I've never been so subverted with dialogue to the point where I forgot what was going on in the story. Or, like, at this point, we didn't even know what was going on in the story yet. They were just talking about burgers in French. That was really cool. I think the whole scene to where she overdoses and they have to shoot her straight through the heart, that was great because you think she's dead, and then she shoots up really fast and she's freaking out. Pulp Fiction is sprinkled with so many amazing moments, though. The dance scene, I hate to say this word, the gimbal scene at the end, I like everything with Bruce Willis's character. It almost feels like something out of Raging Bull in a way, in an odd way. Um, yeah, there's a lot of great moments, especially when he's searching the house and then he sees Vincent Vega coming out of the bathroom and he shoots him dead. Like that whole sequence was crazy, absolutely crazy. It felt like that whole sequence with Bruce Willis felt like a Scorsese movie. Honestly, that's what I was feeling when I saw that. Is Shawshank Redemption still your favorite movie of all time? Yeah, it's fighting for it right now though. It's between that and Nightcrawler. I completely understand the context of the Martha scene. Part of me feels like the execution could be better. I plan to rewatch Batman vs Superman soon, so we'll see. Yeah, I definitely understand that. I'm glad you can understand the context of it. A lot of people seem to not. They just say, "This scene bad," and that's all they say. But when you think about it, there's a lot that actually makes sense. Best written movie for me, it's The Kings of Summer. I honestly think that Shawshank Redemption is competing for the best written movie. Like it's hard to find a more well constructed movie than The Shawshank Redemption. I think Pulp Fiction is up there as well. There's a lot of great movies. You could look at anything from Aaron Sorkin, especially like The Social Network. I think that movie is so tight, it doesn't have an ounce of fat on it. There's so many great movies out there, especially when it comes to the writing. Those are a couple, though. Don't Feel Alone. I like the Martha scene, too. Okay, I'm starting to gather an alliance here. Let's go into battle. I may love Birdman, but it's not my top 10 best movie of 2014 list, to be honest. Okay, that's cool. LOL, do a day with Jaren, JK, LOL. That'd be interesting, but you guys would also be bored to death. Josh from Future Filmmaker. What's up, man? Thanks for joining. Have you heard of Bob the Builder? That's a show that I watched a lot on my as a child. That's definitely one. I remember Can He Build It? Yes, We Can. That was a great. I remember that theme song very, very vividly. So yeah, I definitely had times with that. Can you quote American Psycho? The only one I can really think of is, do you like Huey Lewis in the News? I feel like everyone knows that one, though. But that's about it. It's been a while since I saw that movie. It's hard to watch. I've been wanting to revisit it lately, though. I really have. Okay, we got a lot of questions to go through. Diaz discusses, just popping by to say hey to this dope channel. That's dope at Nolan Talks Movies that you are making a short film. Yes, Nolan, it's very, very dope. Guys, if you haven't gone to follow Diaz Discusses, do that right now. Drop what you're doing. Go show him some love. Show him support. The guy's great. He made it big on Instagram. He did a great job over there with his short reviews. Then he decided, I'm going to make more long-form content over here at YouTube. It's a blast to watch him and see him grow, see his progression. The dude is absolutely killing it. So thank you for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it. Did you watch VeggieTales as a kid? Yeah, I did. I sure did. The more I go back and rewatch it, I'm like, what was I doing? Why did I see that? It's also funny how inaccurate it is to the Bible. But, oh well, what are you going to do? Favorite movie everybody hates what you love? The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Batman vs. Superman. There's a lot. Wonder Woman 1984. Ooh, I don't want to get any arguments in the chat, but I like that movie. The best scene in Batman vs. Superman is the Trinity scene, whether people like Batman vs. Superman or not. I'll admit that the Trinity scene is awesome. Yeah, that's a great scene, of course. I also like, I've said this before, I think the entire battle sequence that they have at the end is better than the entire battle at the end of Wonder Woman 2017. I like it much better. That was so cool to see Wonder Woman introduced. Gal Gadot as the character. She's perfect as the character. That was such a cool moment. The most overrated director is Ridley Scott. Sue me. Blade Runner 1 is no. Blade Runner 2049, in my opinion. Yeah, I think 2049 is better too. Ridley Scott, yeah. He's not my favorite. He's definitely made some good movies. Thoughts on James Cameron's Avatar? I think it's a masterpiece. I've never been crazy about it, to be honest. I've never understood. Like, I can see why people like and enjoy the spectacle of it all, but I guess I'm more mad at the movie because he spent so much time trying to create this universe that I feel like people forgot about it. I certainly forgot about it. I saw it in the theater, and I can barely remember anything about it. I didn't have a great time with it. Jaren Holland. Yeah, that's my name. What's your favorite movie? It's competing between Shawshank Redemption and Nightcrawler. Favorite non-movie YouTubers? Cody Co, Noel Miller. Um, I'm trying to think who else. Mr. Beast is always fun to watch sometimes. I definitely think Cody Co and Noel Miller are probably my two favorites. Scott Kramer is also good. Danny Gonzalez. I like the commentary channels. I like those a lot. Also, Rhett and Link is really cool. You're such a great guy, Jaren. I think I may subscribe to you. Thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate that. That's cool. You're great too. It's been great chatting. You've had some pretty awesome questions. I love the mix of the different eras of questions you've been asking, from movies from the golden age to newer stuff to just asking my opinions on stuff. I like getting questions like this. You've done a great job, so I appreciate that, and thank you again for joining. Chris Stuckman wasn't even the first film critic. Film criticism has been since the 20th century. Obviously, Roger Ebert, Siskel and Ebert. There's so many. Those are just a couple. It's just something that people are going to say. Obviously, Chris Stuckman has been here since YouTube started, pretty much. So, obviously, people's reaction is going to be, you're trying to copy Chris Stuckman because he's one of the first. But there's been a lot of time passing since he started, and a lot of people else have started their channels. He's an inspiration for sure, but I'm definitely not trying to copy him in any way. Do you prefer older Yoda or baby Yoda? I'll say older Yoda. I think baby Yoda is great for novelty. He's cute. He's a fun character, but older Yoda, obviously, he gives wisdom. He helps develop Luke Skywalker as a character. Baby Yoda is there for looks and intrigue. He definitely has some great moments. Definitely moments of what's going to happen next, especially when Luke Skywalker comes in and picks him up at the end of Mandalorian Season 2. But I got to say, honestly, the one who's given a stronger story in the Star Wars universe, who has a stronger lore, is older Yoda. Yeah, my dad started playing videos on his big TV with a sound bar. Oh my gosh, and even some of the collabs I've done. I mean, it's cool. They're showing the support. There's nothing bad about doing that, but I hate to hear myself talk. Like, I'll edit my videos and make sure that I enjoy watching them through, but at the same time I'm cringing. Like, one of the first pieces of advice I got when I was starting was make sure that you're making content that you would watch yourself. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's hard because I hate hearing myself talk. I hate listening to myself, only myself. And when it's amplified, that's really hard. Have you seen the movie Superbad and Juno? Of course. Absolutely. Superbad, arguably the funniest comedy of all time. Thoughts on Dumb and Dumber 2? It's not as good as the original, but I can still have fun with it. There's some moments that I enjoy. Yeah, it's not as good as the original. The original is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. The second one, it's just another thing that felt forced. Like, it wasn't necessary. But I could find a couple more moments in it that were okay. Coming to America was garbage. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I've heard a lot of people say they enjoyed it. It just depends. Now the Dumb and Dumber prequel is pretty funny. I actually haven't seen that. Cars shouldn't have been a franchise. The OG Coming to America is a classic. Absolutely. I actually had to watch it for the first time before seeing the sequel. I was blown away. It's very simplistic, down to earth. I was surprised at how much I liked Eddie Murphy's character. He's always a likable guy, but I mean, he's set up to be sort of this very preppy rich boy. But I like the idea that he comes to America and he wants to work for everything he gets. That was really cool. He's very charismatic, charming, easily likable. Him and Arsenio Hall are just a great duo. Sexual Chocolate's hilarious. I just felt like they kind of didn't take that and use it in the best way in the sequel. Is this a hot take? I enjoy all the Terminator films. It could be a hot take. I could understand that. There's definitely fun to be had through all of them. Most people I hear complain about one, at least one of them. I do. I don't like Genesis, but the rest of them I can find something to like. Everyone's saying that the Captain America trilogy is the best Marvel trilogy, and I'm sitting here like, what are y'all talking about? Spider-Man all the way. I think most people have the argument that it's the best MCU trilogy. I haven't heard many people say it's the best Marvel trilogy of all time. I definitely think it's a contender. When it comes to MCU trilogies, I definitely think Captain America trilogy is the best. I couldn't say for sure about Marvel though. Blade Runner or 2049? It's 2049 for me too. Denis Villeneuve is great. Let's see. I'm definitely impressed with both Carrie films. I just got the steelbook of the original movie. Now I gotta find the remake. Yeah, I don't have the remake on Blu-ray either. I used to have it on DVD. And in fact, I think I still have it on DVD. I just never upgraded. It's just not one of those that I'm like dying to get upgraded. But yeah, I remember having a pretty good time with it. Favorite Ryan O'Toole video and favorite Jay Vader's video. I will say I don't watch too much of Jay Vader's, but Ryan O'Toole, I like the kind of the movie brackets he does where he brings in a lot of collaborators. He asked me recently to be on one of his movie brackets, but I wasn't able to because I had prior commitments. But the guy's great. You can tell he's very, very passionate. I love all his lists. He does a great job. He's having a fun time. It's very easy to see. Since you're a massive rap fan, I wouldn't say I'm a massive rap fan, but I do enjoy some like good rap. What do you think of mumble rap? I hate it. That's the type of rap that will keep me away from listening to rap music. And if I hear too much of it, I would be completely scarred and over the genre as a whole. I don't think I like music that has a purpose, that has a narrative and a story that it's telling, and it gets you from point A to B and you feel like you got something from it. Mumble rap is just saying a bunch of words with no context and no meaning at all. Let's see. Have you seen the movie Thomas and Magic Railroad? I loved it as a kid. I haven't. Well, I'm not going to say I haven't because I might have as a kid, but I don't remember for sure, honestly. Here's a nuclear hot take I have. Ana de Armas is the my actress? Is your favorite actress, maybe? I don't know if that's a hot take. I think a lot of people love Ana de Armas. I love Ana de Armas. Any planned Bond videos before No Time to Die? The month it comes out, if it still comes out, I really hope it does. Fingers crossed. I'm planning on doing a ranking of Daniel Craig movies, or no, I'll do that. I'm gonna do that after No Time to Die comes out. I'm gonna do a review, of course, of No Time to Die. I want to do a ranking of all the Bond actors. Possibly each of the different Bonds, like rank their films individually. Maybe the Bond songs. There's just a lot to get through. Like it's an even bigger franchise than the MCU, so that's a lot of material. But there's definitely gonna be some Bond content coming. You know, I got to talk about one of my favorite franchises. What's a movie you attempted to watch but you can never finish it? I couldn't get into The Lighthouse at all. One movie that I watched recently. It's not that I couldn't get into it, but I fell asleep. It's The Fan. Robert De Niro's in it. He's like a massive San Francisco Giants fan. I started watching it really late, so I never got back to it. It doesn't necessarily mean that I didn't like it. It's just I don't remember too much about it. One movie I watched is Shallow Hal. That's a movie that I don't think is funny at all. It didn't work at me. It didn't work for me. Golly. This is to the point where my voice is starting to get wore out and I can like really, really feel it. So I'm needing to drink a lot. So forgive me while I take another sip. Once again, though, thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate this. You guys are asking a ton of great questions. I love having this connection with you guys. I've missed doing these live streams. If you haven't yet, make sure to like, subscribe if you're new. Most of these people I know are returning, but still, show your support, share it around, get the name out there. I really appreciate it, guys. I'm proud of my content, but I can't stand my voice. I feel you, man. I really feel you. Do you watch anime? Lazy Egg, thanks for joining. I do watch a little bit. And I've got some series coming where I'm going to be talking about more anime because I've been wanting to expose myself to it. In particular, Dragon Ball Z. It's pretty fun. And I'm so upset that it's taken me this long to get into it, but so far I'm having a blast. Just stay tuned for that. Favorite series finale of all time, mine is easily The Mandalorian Season 2. I think you got to go with Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is one of those shows where every series or every season got substantially better from the last, and I felt like it ended perfectly, while also leaving enough there for it to have that movie El Camino that was actually pretty decent. Like, it was good. It was able to pick up from it and give enough there that I had a fun time. Even though it wasn't necessary, I had a pretty good time with El Camino. Have you seen The French Connection? I have not, but I've been wanting to. Have you seen GOTFF? What is that? Am I blanking? Am I blanking on what GOTFF is? If I put in GOTFF, is it going to come up? Okay, I don't know what that is. Let me know. Do you like anime? From what I've seen so far, I'm starting to like it. Like I said, I'm wishing I would have started sooner. Speaking of Rhino, what's your favorite Fallen for Film podcast besides the one you were in? I could tell you might pick that. Here, I gotta think. I think Austin Burke. Anytime Austin Burke is on a podcast or just doing something like that, collaborative, he's always such a pleasure to listen to watch. He's just such a great guy. He adds for great conversation. I'm trying to think. Kristen Maldonado, she was on there. I enjoyed that episode. There's been some great episodes. Some really great episodes. It was a short-lived podcast, but for the time, they had some really good guests. Favorite A24 movie? Mine is The Disaster Artist all the way. It's a toss-up right now between... I can't even say it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between a lot of them. I love Hereditary, Midsommar, Uncut Gems, obviously. Under the Silver Lake is a very underrated one. The Disaster Artist is great. Minari is one that came out in 2020 that's so good. A24 just really doesn't miss. The Lighthouse is good. It's hard to pick a favorite. That's one of the hardest to pick a favorite. I was thinking about possibly maybe doing a ranking of that franchise soon. They're so good. That's such a great studio. Last classic question. Have you heard of the actress Lana Turner or June Allison? Being diverse is my quality. That's a great quality to have. I haven't heard of either of them, actually. So if you could give me any suggestions, let me know. I've seen The Fan. Wasn't a fan of that one. Okay. So maybe I wasn't missing anything. Maybe I wasn't missing much. Uncut Gems is my favorite A24 film. It's not a bad pick at all. My favorite A24 movie is 8th Grade. I like it, but there's definitely some stuff wrong with it. I will say that's one of the best portrayals of middle school that I've ever seen in my life. Like all of the students feel real. All of the encounters feel very authentic. Favorite Al Pacino and Robert De Niro film? I will say I've recently come around on The Irishman. That one's really, really good. You know what? I'm going to stick with that for now. I'm going to stick with that. Maybe that's a hot take. Is it? Maybe. But you know what? I'm fine with that. Grave of the Fireflies. Okay. No, I've never heard of that. I love Sailor Moon and Spirited Away. Anime I recommend. I'll definitely check it out. Studio Ghibli is great. I've only seen a handful of their movies, and from what I've heard, the movies I've seen are not their best. Like, I've seen Ponyo, and I think... Kiki's Delivery Service. I've heard that they get better, which is crazy to think, but yeah, those are definitely on my watch list. Favorite movie review you've done? I can't say I have an answer for that, but how about this? I'll flip it around to you guys. What is your favorite movie review that I've done? Let me know. Do you like Wayne's World? I've never actually seen it. Do you watch Bully Maguire videos where it's Spiderman 3, Dark Peter edit, and other movies? No, I actually haven't seen that. There's actually an A24 movie that sucked. It's called The Bling Ring. I've seen that once. I didn't think it sucked, but it also wasn't my favorite. So I can see why you didn't like it, but I didn't hate it or anything. Lana Turner was in The Bad and the Beautiful, and June Allison was in a classic Little Women movie adaptation from the 40s. Oh, okay, that's really cool. I know Little Women has a ton of remakes, but I'll definitely have to check those out. So The Bad and the Beautiful and June and classic Little Women from the 40s. Okay. Is this a hot topic? I love the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. I love Star Wars no matter what. Yeah, there's no problem with being I can't talk. Blah, blah, blah. There's nothing wrong with being a diehard Star Wars fan and liking all of the movies. That's what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, I'm just blanking on the word, but you're just a great fan. The word I was looking for was dedicated. That's the word I was looking for. You're a dedicated fan. Nothing wrong with that. I can't personally say I enjoy all of them, but more power to you. Favorite Scorsese movie? Mine is going to be a hot take, but Hugo. Mine's going to be a hot take. Maybe even hotter take than yours. Raging Bull. It's between Raging Bull and Silence. That's a hot take. Favorite Spike Lee joint? There's one that actually has Delroy Lindo in it besides The Five Bloods. Here, I forget the name of it. It starts with a C. Spike Lee joints. I want to get the name right so I can recommend it to you guys. Okay, the movie is called Crooklyn. That's what it is. Crooklyn is one of my favorites. He Got Game is great. Dude, I'm looking through his filmography. Spike Lee has so many amazing movies. Black Klansman's really good. I actually think Black Klansman might be my favorite. That's hard to say, though. Spike Lee has so many amazing movies. I actually haven't seen Do the Right Thing yet, surprisingly. I'm going to check it out this year. I want to say your name. Sapochnik? Liam Sapochnik? Tell me if I said that right. Hey, Jaren, what's your favorite horror film? My favorite horror film, I got to go with The Shining. That's what I'm going to go with. Favorite movie review you've seen someone else do? Really, seriously, anything from Griffin Schiller at FilmSpeak. The dude is amazing. His quality continues to get better. I think he just kind of prides himself on giving in-depth analysis on movies. And I definitely think that the way he breaks them down are both personal as well as being super in-depth, detailed, and well-explained. Well-spoken. He's very, very well-spoken. So really anything from him is great. Favorite movie review? That's what I'd have to go with. Anything from Griffin Schiller. Honestly. What are your top 3 directors of all time? Mine are Nolan, Spielberg, and Hitchcock. I actually have a video on this, but I don't know how out of date it is today. My favorite is Hitchcock. Nolan's up there. And then also I'd have to say Quentin Tarantino. Definitely Quentin Tarantino. Favorite movie involving extraterrestrial aliens? I'd have to go with Aliens. I guess you could also say The Thing, even though, is that an alien? Is it not? I don't know. I actually haven't seen E.T., funny enough. Okay, please watch Grave of Fireflies. It's a masterpiece. Okay, I'll put it on my list. I like you said, masterpiece. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but I kind of like it. Masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. Who's better, chicken nuggets, McDonald's, or Carl's Jr.? I'm not very familiar with Carl's Jr., so I'll just have to go with McDonald's. I'm very picky with my nuggets, though. I think the best overall, my favorite, is Chick-fil-A. Amari, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. What's up, Jaren? I appreciate you joining. Which MCU movie are you most excited for? I definitely think the one I'm most excited for is Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, especially after WandaVision ended. You know there's going to be a lot of spillover into that movie. There's so much potential of where that story could go. Sam Raimi coming in, the possibility of Spiderman somewhere in the universe. I'm really excited. And from what I've heard, It's a pretty fun experience that they're having making the movie so far. So that's definitely the one I'm most excited for. Do you like Ryan Gosling's Drive? Absolutely. Ryan Gosling is one of my favorite actors. I also love Nicholas Winding Refn a ton. I think he's the one who directed that movie. I'm almost positive. Nicholas Winding Refn. Yes, okay. I was almost certain. I love that guy a ton. Like, his style is insane. This neo-noir filmmaking that he does, also very, like, reserved, but at the same time can be very graphic. I've always said this, Ryan Gosling is just a great... Uh, he's good at acting without words. Like, you can see exactly how he's feeling without actually saying it, and I really, really like that. My favorite horror movie of all time is Halloween 78. That was my favorite for a long time. Absolutely amazing. Made on such a small budget, but it's incredibly monumental, dynamic, very, very well done. John Carpenter both directed it and he scored the movie, claiming he doesn't know one note of music, but he crafted one of the greatest film scores of all time. Favorite burger restaurant you would recommend to anyone? Five Guys. Five Guys. I don't know. I feel like Five Guys is a pretty common place to go to, but man, I absolutely love it. My go-to is you get the double patty with cheese, mayonnaise, grilled onions, grilled green peppers, grilled jalapenos, and then the side of the Cajun fries. Oh, so good. So good. Tarantino's in my top 5. That's understandable, man. He's great. Jaren, do you like steak? Absolutely. I'll take a nice ribeye, medium rare, with some A1 steak sauce, side of mashed potatoes, asparagus. That's good eats right there. That's a great meal. Do you watch Alex Myers? Y'all, I just got an Amber Alert. Sorry, my camera froze for a second. I got an Amber Alert. Somebody was kidnapping a kid. I hope the kid's okay. Well, the kid's not okay, but I hope it gets worked out. Alex Myers. Here, let me look it up because I want to see what you're talking about. It doesn't sound familiar. Okay, so Alex Myers is an author. The Story of Silence, Continental Divide. So no, I've never read any of his stuff. Have you heard of The Wiggles? Yeah. That was a part of my childhood too. The Wiggles, and then there was another group of these people who dressed like these odd characters. Is The Wiggles, and then what else? I'm just gonna look up shows like The Wiggles. It was the Doodle Bops. I watched The Wiggles and the Doodle Bops. Ah, those, especially the Doodle Bops, man, that could give a child nightmares. Okay, so Gavin says Alex Myers, the YouTuber. Let me look up this person because I might actually subscribe to them. Let's see. Alex Myers on YouTube. Oh, okay. I've seen this guy. He has that funny avatar. Okay, 2.53 million subscribers. He's obviously not doing anything successful. I'm kidding. Favorite collab that I've done? I don't know that I can pick a favorite because I love just talking with people. My buddy Jaren Williams is one that I've always had a great time with. If you guys don't know, we're starting a podcast. That's So Hollywood. If you guys remember, he started that solo right before he kind of quit YouTube for a while. He stepped away, but we're coming back. We're doing it together. The channel is now ours, and we're going to be collaborating on a weekly podcast where we talk about all things movies and entertainment. That's coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. Just look up That's So Hollywood podcast on YouTube and go ahead and subscribe. He was my first collab and also the one that I just always enjoy talking to. And then also Certain Vids is great. The man is awesome. He's making short films. He's making TASM 2 content. Just, there's so many great collaborators out there, and I can't wait to collaborate with more. Cliff Jance, that's right. So Cliff, he lives in Georgia as well, and so I forgot. Everyone in Georgia is going to get that same Amber Alert. Everyone's phone just buzzed. Yeah, I didn't even get to read it. I kind of just X'd out because I was worried about my camera. Maybe I should get my priorities straight. Thanks for stopping by, Cliff. And I'm serious, dude. I want to see you making more YouTube content. Guys, if you haven't gone to subscribe to him, subscribe to him. He took a break from YouTube. I encourage him to get back into it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that guy has in store for us. He's great. Jaren, can you quote this line, please? Cinders and ashes? Just like to hear it and laugh. I don't know if I said that right. What movie is that from? Cinders and Ashes. I'm going to look up Cinders and Ashes. Thomas the Train again? Dude. Okay. Oh, okay. Literally, the question under it said it's from Thomas the Tank Engine. I didn't even have to Google that, but okay, it's fine. Bernardo, the movie geek, is in the house. What's up, man? I hope you're doing as well, or I hope you're doing well too. Thank you so much for joining. Better late than never, guys. Another great YouTuber. Go show him some support. He's making awesome content over there. He's such a cinematic dude. Like, the guy is out there filming and shooting all the time, and he's documenting it on social media, and it's so cool to see. The dude has an awesome rig, an awesome setup, also a great Blu-ray collection, and just an awesome personality in general. So go show him some support. Any interviews planned for the future? I do have quite a few, but I don't want to spoil them yet. Just keep that in mind. There's some more stuff coming. Favorite YouTube in the critic community? Are you trying to get my head cut off, bro? You trying to get me kicked out of the critic community? I am not saying that. Nice try, though. Last food question. What is your favorite dessert? Pie. My mom makes something called a cherry cheese pie. It's heaven. It's heaven on earth. Yes. What's heaven going to be like? It's this pie. It's this pie. That's what I guess. I'm not a cake person. And I'm not necessarily. I will say that I'll take any sort of like ice cream you'll give me, but like my favorite thing, cherry cheese pie. Also, I live in Georgia. A good peach cobbler with some vanilla bean ice cream on top. Ooh, so good. Ooh, chef's kiss. Are you gonna watch the making of WandaVision? Of course. I'm a little salty on the show, but I still enjoyed it. So I want to see how they make it. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what you think, regardless of if your theories came true or not, there was a lot that went into making this show and pulling it off, so that'll be impressive and cool to watch. Have you heard of the movie Election? Yeah, that's actually a movie that was recommended by my buddy Colin, and I watched it. Of course, it stars Matthew Broderick, Reese Witherspoon. It's a great, dark, satirical comedy. I was really impressed with how much I liked it. Have you ever seen Howard the Duck? Yeah. It's kind of like a known thing. Most people complain about it and say it's terrible. I watched it, and I have a fun time with it. It's not great, but I have a fun time with Howard the Duck. Yeah, maybe that's a hot take. I think, didn't you used to have Howard the Duck as your profile picture, Max? I'm pretty sure you did. So you're a fan of it too, right? Or is it just like a joke? I just realized you haven't ranked the Twilight films. Do it. You know, I've actually been thinking about subjecting myself to that pain. I've been thinking about it. Sometimes when I'm having a really bad day, I'm like, I might as well just kind of watch the Twilight movies. My day couldn't be any worse. Or sometimes when I'm too high, like too excited, I need to watch the Twilight movies to bring me back down to a couple notches. But in all seriousness, it's always fun to make fun of, but I've never actually experienced them. So maybe I need to sit down and watch them. Cliff Chance, thanks. Working on notes for new videos now. Yes, that's what I like to hear. Everybody, I'm serious. Before you log out of this live stream, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and then click on Cliff Chance or go search him on YouTube and just subscribe to him. He's got some subscribers already. He can always use more. You never have enough, okay? You can never get enough support. So as long as we keep showing support to these other creators in the community, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great thing. Same with the Movie Geek. Oh, thanks, man. You are the best. No, you're the best, man. I really appreciate that. Some of these people that you guys see in here, these are the ride or dies, the people that have been here from the beginning. That gave me the foundation that I built on when I started this channel. Gave me the motivation to keep posting content. So it's cool to see these guys continue to show up on the stream. Just know how appreciative I am. And I hope that no matter how large I grow in numbers, that I always continue to have a connection with these people that built the foundation. Love answering questions with you, man. I love answering your questions as well, man. Thank you. Keep asking them. Just as long as you want to. Election is a film I very much liked and shocked by the story and its themes. Dude, it's so dark. Some of the imagery, like not even the things that it necessarily says, but even backgrounds, some of the things that's hinted at, but not directly like spoken upon. Whoa, very dark. But also, when you think about it, probably kind of realistic. It's a half joke, half enjoying the film for a Howard the Duck hype. Okay, I got you. Are you hearing about what people think about the last episode of WandaVision? They're upset because it didn't go the way they wanted. So originally I was saying that I think people don't need to be upset just because their theories don't come true, but at the same time, the more I think about the episode, I was sort of underwhelmed with it as well. I have a ranking of all the episodes now, as well as a review of the last episode. If you want to hear more of my full in-depth thoughts, there's definitely things that could have been better. And sort of undermining some of the theories that they speculated and that they got people hyped for and then didn't deliver on. And I can understand why people are upset about the whole Ralph Boner joke. If people are mad just because their theories didn't come true, all of them that were super wild, like because Doctor Strange or Captain Marvel didn't show up, or because they didn't see Tobey Maguire's Spiderman, I feel like people can get over that. But other than that, I can see where some people are coming from, as long as they're rational about it. Nicholas says, I have one more question. Favorite coming-of-age movie? Ooh, okay. Favorite coming-of-age movie? I'm going to give you... That's hard. Coming-of-age is one of those genres that there's so many great ones out there, it's hard to pick. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl is one that's, I feel like, underseen. Not a lot of people talk about it enough. It's based on a book that I actually read, really liked. It's an adaptation that I really, really like. Stand By Me is a classic. Eighth Grade is really good. Perks of Being a Wallflower possibly is my favorite. I cry every time I see that movie. There's a lot of good coming-of-age movies. Those are a couple recommendations. Have you seen the Good Burger movie? Yeah, I have. That was my childhood, too. I love Keenan and Kel, so seeing them in the movie together was really cool. I need to get the Blu-ray, because they recently put that on Blu-ray. Vince Aquino. Hey, Jaren, the Pinocchio cast has been announced. Keegan-Michael Key as Honest John, and more like Luke Evans, a.k.a. as Gaston, is going to be the villain Coachman. Yeah. I don't know too much about it. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily super, super hyped for it, but I'm curious. I'm very curious. We've been streaming for over an hour and 30 minutes. You know what? I'm fine to keep going. As long as you guys keep bringing the questions, I'm totally fine to keep going. This is so fun. I've missed doing this. You excited for Godzilla vs. Kong? Absolutely. Those trailers have been great. Let me know what side you're on. I'm side Kong. Kong all the way. Honestly, dude, I've been doing YouTube for 9 years and it's been a struggle, but the one thing I love is talking about films. Also learned to edit even better than my past. 9 years, that's a long time, man. I admire your commitment. I love the fact that you keep grinding, you keep putting out content for people. I enjoy content. I enjoy your content a lot, immensely. But that's definitely the most important thing. Just that we're on here talking about what we love. We love filmmaking. We love films in general. Getting to discuss them with others, building a community. And yeah, same with editing for me as well. I came in not knowing anything, but I've kind of forced myself to learn. That's one of the cool things. You're sort of putting yourself out there, forcing yourself to learn new things that you otherwise would never have been exposed to. Frequently, you'll see that my YouTube history is filled with YouTube tutorials on how to grow and how to just do new editing tricks. That's the best way. You're, in a lot of ways, your own teacher. You're kind of on your own, and you're forced to experiment and learn new things, and that's the fun part. When did you start going after screeners from studios? I'd say after I started approaching people at 500 subs. I'll say that I didn't start getting them until 700. That's when I started really, really making a leap for them, actually getting some, receiving some. I'd say before that, they don't really look at you, regardless of how like great your content is. Sadly, if you have a smaller reach, they're going to be less inclined to say yes and send you stuff. But I definitely say around 700 is when I started really, really getting them. I mean, the main reason I love WandaVision as a show is that it deals with grief at the same time expanding the character of Wanda, which I love. Absolutely. I think that's scarier and darker and deeper than anything else we could have ever imagined. I trust Marvel more than my theories. Best coming of age movie is Breakfast Club. That's a good one too. That's definitely up there. But I love Perks of Being a Wall. That's such a great movie. Um, yes, Jaren knows what's happening. Perks is my favorite movie. It's a masterpiece. A masterpiece. Um, I will forever love how you say masterpiece. Masterpiece. It's such a good movie, bro. It's so good, especially every time they're driving through the tunnel, sticking their head out the sunroof. Makes you feel alive, man. Makes you feel absolutely alive. Stranger Boy, showing a little love to Chris from 3C Films. If you guys don't get this reference, go subscribe to 3C Films. Team Hairy Cheeks. Hairy Cheeks all the way, bro. May as well keep asking questions then. Have you seen Boogie Nights with Mark Wahlberg? I haven't. I've been wanting to watch that one. I need to check it out. Don't kill me. I'm gonna check it out soon. I promise. What's one moment from the first Ghost Rider movie you liked if you've seen it? Ooh. I can't really comment because it's been so long since I've seen the movie. I remember those are some guilty pleasure movies that when I watched them I knew they were bad, but I still enjoy them. But it's been so long. It's been at least 5 years. 5 or 6 years since I revisited them. So like I was 12 or 11 the last time I saw them. Yeah, I need to revisit them. What were the first screeners that you got? I'm trying to think. First screen. Well, I guess the first screener I got were stuff from Netflix when I got approved for them because I applied for Netflix before I started applying for anything else because at the time I thought, hey, if I can at least get into Netflix, I know I can get in other places. So I think the first screener I was ever able to watch, honestly, I don't even remember. Here, I'll go to my YouTube channel real quick. I'll go to my Netflix reviews. Let's see. Because I'm curious. I want to give you an accurate answer. So every Netflix review I've ever done. Let's see. 2020. So I think that's it. My first screener was To All the Boys Too. P.S. I Still Love You. That's an odd one, but it's not a bad one either. I'm not mad at that. That's cool. It's cool to relive memories like that. As to where I started and to where I'm at now. A lot of people look at me and say that I'm a very small scale, which I am. But at the same time, like I'm so happy for everything I've been able to achieve and accomplish so far. Have you heard of Rodney Dangerfield? He was a comedian. Absolutely. Dude, it's funny. You can't see this right now, but I've got a big poster of Caddyshack right here. Rodney Dangerfield is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Do you watch The Nostalgia Critic? No, I don't. It's just not my style. Did you watch the Golden Globes? Yeah, that cringy mess. That was a cringy mess. That's all I can say. I mean, a lot of the awards were well-deserved. But the show itself, ugh, cringe. Zame Winder. I don't think I've seen you in here. What's up? Thanks for joining, man. I appreciate that. Gavin says, what's your favorite soundtrack? Mine is probably Perks. David Bowie, We Can Be Heroes. Come on, Eileen, both powerful moments. Favorite soundtrack? Honestly, the Star is Born soundtrack is up there. I guess soundtrack is different than score. Guardians, both Volume 1 and 2 are great soundtracks. There are so many great ones out there. I'm trying to think. I'm probably skipping some. I mean, I know I'm skipping a lot. It's easier for me to name scores than it is soundtracks. I'm blanking on soundtracks for some reason. So those are a few, I guess. I guess I gave you some picks. Vince, last question. Are you excited on Space Jam 2: A New Legacy? But unfortunately, the skunk named Pepe Le Pew already appeared in the original Space Jam. He will be cut in the sequel. Are you excited? I wouldn't say I'm excited, but I'm curious. That's another sequel I don't necessarily think should be made. In my opinion, I think if they were going to make a sequel to Space Jam, it should have been done before Kobe passed away. I think Kobe should have been the one to star in it. I'm not a fan of LeBron James. That's another debate for another time. Yes, he's won championships, but Kobe Bryant is my favorite player, and I definitely think that it would have meant more for him to be in a movie. Rest in peace. I'm still curious. They're going in a new direction, so I'm definitely gonna tune in. Thoughts on the Ghostbusters film? I think the first one's okay. I've never been super crazy about the franchise. They're definitely 80s classics, nostalgic films. The first one I have a ton of fun with. The rest of them, I could take them or leave them. Would you recommend Promising Young Woman? Absolutely. I think it was my number 3 pick. I think my top 3 were Promising Young Woman, Soul, and Pieces of a Woman. Promising Young Woman, definitely. I hope it does really well at the Oscars this year. Carey Mulligan is great. Her best performance of her career. A great revenge thriller that has some themes that I'm not necessarily a fan of, but for the most part, it's a very contemplative film that, at the end of the day, gives you a pretty fun time, pretty good time. Also, Bo Burnham is in the movie. He's always good to see. On top of that, I never really cared about popularity. I just do it on my own, but I love supporting others and see them grow, like my buddy Josh, aka Cinecreep. Oh, Team Godzilla all the way. Oh, Team Kong. Kong will take him down. But anyway, Cinecreep is awesome. He's one of the first like blue tubers that I watched when I first got YouTube. The dude's great. But yeah, it's all about showing support with others, just having fun. When your first motive is to get into it because it's you see the money, you see business, you're gonna be disappointed really fast. But when you do it just because you have a love for what you're talking about, that's when it's really fun. I couldn't trade that for the world. I like the moment he began to transform into Ghost Rider for the first time. Really epic. Yeah, I guess I would say I like the whole opening sequence when you see the backstory of him, like his life as a stuntman, his relationship, making the deal with the devil. Obviously, when he transforms into Ghost Rider, that's all cool. I definitely remember that moment. So yeah, that's a good one. Jaren. Okay, I got pressure here. Rank every movie ever made in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, done. Did you not hear me? I was just so fast. That's too bad. An underrated YouTuber you should check out is Alex Leyva. Alex Leyva is great. We've actually talked a few times. The dude's awesome. I envy him because he was able to actually meet the flick pick, Chris Stuckman. He also just hangs out with some pretty chill people. He's a chill person himself. I like the whole aesthetic they have going on over there. The dynamic could just kind of, it feels like when I watch his stuff, I feel like I'm watching scenes out of Mallrats. They're just a bunch of friends hanging around having a good time. Not a lot of substance to it, just having fun. And I couldn't ask for any more. You said oops too late. Gotcha. I did it. If you didn't hear it, you just missed out. Sorry. I just recently found your channel and you have awesome content. Thank you so much, Zane. I really appreciate that. Like I said, I hope to do more live streams like this so I can talk to you guys because I love interacting. I was planning on only going for about an hour and I'm coming up on 2 just because the time has gotten away from me and I'm having such a fun time and I can still keep, as long as I got some drink in this bottle, I'm going to keep going because I ain't got no place to be until y'all start leaving, ditching me, telling me I'm sounding all delirious. I'm going to keep talking. Have you seen the Wayans Brothers show? I think I have. I don't remember it, but I do think, because I think there was a period in time where it was coming on Nick at Night, because I remember seeing this show, I believe, and George Lopez. So I do think I've seen a couple episodes. Hopefully the Oscars don't cringe as well. I have a feeling it's still going to, just because obviously when you're doing the whole digital, online, over Zoom aspect of it, there's going to be some cringe. There's going to be some mishap. It's not fully controlled. It's not a fully controlled environment. So things are destined to go wrong, unfortunately. Breakfast Club. That's another one. Breakfast Club has a great movie soundtrack. Don't You Forget About Me? Great. Great song. Sal, if you know, you know. I think I know. Oh, wait. Is that... Here, I'm going to look it up. Because I don't want to act like... Yeah, I know. If I don't really know. Okay, I don't know. Should I know? Favorite scene in Nightcrawler other than Jake's... I was going to say Jake's monologue. Okay, I'm going to say... I'm going to say towards the end, when they're trying to capture that entire sequence of the guys who go into the restaurant, shoot at the cops, and they have the chase, and then the car flips over, and he sends Riz Ahmed over to videotape the footage, or the guy upside down in the car, knowing that he's still alive, and you see Riz Ahmed end up getting shot and killed. In that moment, it really proved that he is just... Jake Gyllenhaal's character is just a sociopath who has absolutely no regard or emotion towards any other character but himself. His only end goal is to help benefit himself, and if anybody gets in the way of that, if he feels like anybody's holding him back from accomplishing that, he'll use them as assets to move him forward and as pawns in his game. So that was like freaky. But the Jake's monologue is definitely my favorite part. Do you like the first Space Jam? Yes. It's not like a great movie, but for nostalgic purposes, absolutely. I never knew I needed a collab with Bill Murray and Michael Jordan. Have you seen the Tremors films? I have not. Cinecreep is an awesome guy? Yes, he is. Favorite Robert Zemeckis film? Wouldn't I be crazy to not say Back to the Future? I think so. I agree with what you said about Kobe over LeBron. Rest in peace, Mamba. Absolutely. My favorite athlete of all time. I still remember that day that I got told. I screamed at the person who told me because I was so mad. I was like, don't joke about that. And then I cried for like 3 days straight. I couldn't get over it. I also like your profile picture, dude. John Stockton, one of the GOATs. Do you watch Cool Duder? I don't. I used to, but I don't watch him as much. I've kind of refrained and kind of withheld from watching more of the BlueTuber content as much as I used to. He's someone I did check out every once in a while, but I just haven't seen his stuff recently. Yeah, that was good old days. Glad I was part of young BlueTube. Also, I'm so glad I met Alex and Josh. Blu-ray Dan was my dude. That's cool that you got to meet them. I didn't know you met them. That's really cool. Do you think there should be another MCU Hulk movie? At this point, I don't think it'd serve too much of a purpose. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the blueprint they have for his character within the MCU, but at the same time, he had some pretty good moments. I didn't hate Professor Hulk like everybody else, but I feel like it's just to the point in the MCU where they're really developing quickly and kind of moving past the old scope. So I don't necessarily know where he'd fit into things. When you react to trailers, how do you make sure they don't get copyrighted? I would love to react. Pretty much, honestly, reactions fall under the fair use policy, so most of the time they don't copyright. Sometimes they'll copyright but not block it. There's a difference between copyright and blocking. Copyright just means you can't get monetized. But reaction videos like that, it's whatever. Oftentimes, if you can put like a border over it or not show the video at all times, like cut it off or kind of pitch up the audio bit, you can avoid it. But trailer reactions, for the most part, are easy to get around. I would always wake up to George Lopez theme at 5 a.m. Yeah, I know. And I remember, same here. I remember because I had this old box tube TV that I was like, I was like 6 years old. I'd hear that theme song and it would just trigger my brain to wake up, and I would sit on my floor and just watch the TV, not going on, but in the back of my mind knowing this is an adult show. I shouldn't watch this. I shouldn't know what's going on. And then my parents would come in and like get upset that I'm watching it, but at the same time I'm like, what am I supposed to do? That theme song's catchy. Have you seen Impractical Jokers? Absolutely. I was so happy when they added that to Netflix. I'm not even sure if it's still on Netflix or not. The original seasons are the best, because at that point, nobody knows who the guys are. Like Sal and Q. Those are my favorites. But, like, especially in the later seasons, everyone knows. So, like, I don't know if all the time the pranks are legit, because I feel like at this point, most people are going to be like, oh, hi, yeah, I've seen your show before. And that kind of takes away from the novelty of it all. But at the time, the show was hilarious. Tracy Morgan at the Globes. Congratulations to Sal. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. See, as soon as you said Tracy Morgan, it triggered my brain. Congratulations to Sal. I mean, Soul. That was funny. How do you mispronounce Soul? We all have our off days. Have you heard of the Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery movie, The Rock? I've heard of it. I've never seen it. Should I check it out? Who played a better love interest, Kirsten Dunst, Emma Stone, or Zendaya? I will ride with Emma Stone until I die. That's all I'll say. Jake should have been nominated for an Oscar in Nightcrawler. It's one of the biggest Oscar snubs in history, I think. I think both him and Riz Ahmed could have easily been nominated for Best Supporting Actor, even though I think it's more understandable that he didn't get nominated because the Best Supporting Actor was pretty stacked that year. But the fact that Jake Gyllenhaal didn't even get any sort of recognition for that role is beyond me. Do you have a favorite political movie? I will say that Trial of the Chicago 7 is up there for me now. The President. Is it called No, it's called The American President. Is that what it's called? I want to get that right. The American President. Yes. Okay, it is. The American President was also written by Aaron Sorkin, directed by Rob Reiner, same director of When Harry Met Sally, Stand By Me, starring Michael Douglas as Andrew Shepard, but it also has Michael J. Fox, Martin Sheen, Annette Bening. Great cast. I'd gotta say that's probably my favorite, unless I'm just missing some off the top of my head. But it's one of the most presentable, most reserved, and fancy, most proper political films I've ever seen. He plays a president that I would like to be in the White House right now. Honestly, that one was great. I love Back to the Future, but my favorite Zemeckis film is actually Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is obviously in second place for me. I'm a Utah Jazz fan, but love Kobe growing up. I think that's for everybody, regardless of the team. You've got to love Kobe. Do a Dorothy Gale impression? I don't know about that. Let's see. Let me find a quote. Let me find a good quote. This is going to be embarrassing. I can see you guys. You guys want to see me embarrassed, don't you? That's fine by me. It's okay. I'm not going to do the Kansas thing because that's like too basic. Okay, let's see. Oh, but anyway, Toto, we're home, and this is my room, and you're all here, and I'm not gonna leave here ever again, because I love you all, and oh, Auntie Em, there's no place like home. I think I should probably just end it right there. Don't make me do that, man. I'm obviously not fit to do an impression like that. I mean, we used to Google Hangout a ton back then. Oh, so you and Alex and Josh, that's awesome. That's awesome. If you were a director in Hollywood, what genre would you start with and what actors would you get to star? Psychological thriller, and I would have to get either Joaquin or Jake Gyllenhaal. I feel like those are very cliche picks. I would also get, honestly, I want to see Michael Fassbender in a psychological thriller. I think he'd do a great job. Do you enjoy country music? That's my go-to genre. No. Unfortunately, that's my least favorite genre. I've just never been able to get into it. But I will say, Chris Stapleton, he's probably my favorite country artist just because he feels so close to the classic country music. I like classic, but not today's stuff. Not by a long shot. My go-to comedy? Tropic Thunder. Also like Hot Rod, Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. Now Palm Springs is one that I'll just kind of throw on. There's so many good comedies out there. Let's see. Do you think you'll get the Friends complete series? Oh, that's definitely a goal of mine eventually. I hope so. I just have to wait until the price is right or until I can actually find it in person. Oftentimes, it's just something I have to buy online because all they sell in person where I'm at is just the DVDs. But it'd definitely be ideal. Random question. Are you excited for the iCarly reboot? I gotta say, I'm somewhat excited. I'm curious. I grew up watching iCarly. Love it. I actually rewatched it when it was added to Netflix. It still sort of holds up because there's a nice mix of that, the childish but also adult edgy humor. Dan Schneider got away with a lot of things that wouldn't slide in today's children's television. So I think that if they use sort of that same criteria but with more adult jokes and sort of aged up humor, it could be pretty well done. Anyway, got to go. Have a good night. You too, well. You too, Bernardo. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for joining. If you worked on a movie, would you be the director, writer, producer, or composer? I'd say probably director. Or composer. Director or composer. I feel like the director would be fun just because that's you're getting to flesh out your entire vision. I don't think I have enough chops to be a writer yet. Producer, I feel like it's just, yeah, you get to fund the movie, but I want to be up close. Maybe a director or a cinematographer. Cinematographer is really the one that intrigues me the most. Favorite gangster movie? Mine's Goodfellas. I'd have to go with The Departed. The Departed. That's what I'll have to go with. Favorite episode of Friends? Every single episode? No. I like the one where Ross and Rachel break up. I like the one to where that Christmas episode where Phoebe sings the song, Monica, Monica, have a happy Hanukkah. Saw Santa Claus, said hello to Ross. Please tell Joey Christmas will be snowy. Sorry, that was cringy, but you know that episode? Trying to think. Also, the one where Ross is dealing with anger management because somebody eats a sandwich and then he sees Monica and Chandler across the way starting to kind of get at it. There's a lot of episodes. It's hard to pick a favorite. The only thing is Jeanette McCurdy quit acting, I heard. Yeah, she said she was ashamed of her roles. I don't quite understand that. I mean, she signed up to do children's television. What would she expect? I would be more ashamed if I were her, if for the fact that I didn't continue to act and try to perfect my craft. She kind of just quit. I also heard that she was a problem on set of shows. She did Sam and Cat, which was nowhere near as good, but apparently she caused some issues. I watched 100 episodes of Smallville. Now, there's so many episodes of that show, but it's so good. Like, it's dated. There's a lot of cheesy stuff that doesn't line up, but I still enjoy it. Favorite Pixar character? I would have to say Woody, too. I think Joe Gardner's up there. He's climbing from Soul. I definitely think he's close. What Willy's Wonderland animatronic would you be stuck in? I've actually been thinking about doing a animatronic ranking of all the different ones that we saw in the movie. I definitely don't want to be in the gorilla, Gus the gorilla, because he obviously got killed very fast. You know what? I'd be in Willy. Why not? Why not be the boss man? Have you heard of possibly Batman Beyond coming back? I have heard the possibility that they're working on maybe a live action, which would be really cool. I'm going to start watching the animated show soon. I really want to see it. I've never seen Batman Beyond, but it looks really intriguing to me. If you could switch bodies with any YouTube movie critic, who would it be? I don't think I don't think I could answer that question properly. Because I feel like to say that would say that I'm not satisfied with the life I have. I couldn't see myself in the shoes of any other person. I guess to see the perspective of somebody else, I guess Chandler. just because he's really balancing a ton. He does church stuff. He's got a family. Um, he was able to go full time on YouTube. So I guess just if I was able to get in the mind of Sean Chandler and see how he processes things and how well he works and kind of establishes his analytics and growth and figures out a strategy how to keep producing content at a high level, that'd be very interesting. But I don't think I'd ever want to switch bodies with them. Yeah, Sam and Cat wasn't that good in my opinion. No, it was too much. It's like they took too much of the novelty from Victorious and iCarly and kind of tried to merge them together. And I felt like even though they're made from the same creator, they're two different vibes. I feel like iCarly was much more innocent, while Victorious was a lot more like, what's the word? Edgy. And being innocently edgy, that's a hard balance. That's a very hard balance because that's almost like competing ends of the spectrum merging together. You think that would be You'd think that'd be a good combo, but they didn't come to any sort of like middle ground. They sort of just tried to merge the two ideas together completely, and it didn't work for me. Um, Favorite Nickelodeon show? I gotta go with iCarly, Drake and Josh, Big Time Rush, Keenan and Kel, all that. It's hard to pick a favorite. Those are my top ones, though. Yeah, Stranger Boy says, Drake and Josh, Big Time Rush is coming to net. Oh, is it really? That got me pretty hyped. Interesting. Arian says, have you seen the movie American Psycho? What did you think about it? It's been a while since I've seen it, but I liked it. It was very... the closest thing that I've seen that reminded me of American Psycho today is You, where you're kind of hearing all the thoughts of the lead, but he's more so the antagonist of the story. The way that the dude's just so... he's able to switch personalities so quick. He can be a great, suave, clean businessman during the day, but comes home and like just kills people. That's a pretty good concept. I just remember the movie being very vulgar and grotesque, and at the time I watched it, it was probably not a great time for me to watch it. So I definitely need to revisit it and process it better now, now that I'm older. But it's not bad. Favorite Tom Hanks movie other than Toy Story or Forrest Gump? The Green Mile. It's really hard because he's been in a lot of great stuff. I could also say Captain Phillips. Green Mile or Captain Phillips? Do you have that 70s Show complete series? I don't actually have many complete series at all on Blu-ray. I want to get more, but that 70s Show is another one that I would get. I don't have it, but I definitely would. Okay. Okay, so we got a little burst of questions here. I'm gonna answer these last three, and then I'm gonna end this. I don't want to, but we've been going for a while, and I think the questions are starting to run out. We need to save some for the next time. Brian Hernandez says, "What is your favorite Nick Cage movie?" Whew. Okay. So Nick Cage has been in a lot of over-the-top movies, a lot of wacky movies, but then he's also been in a movie called The Family Man, which I really enjoyed. I don't know if it's my favorite on the spot, but I'm just going to go with it. It's a movie a lot like It's a Wonderful Life, and the idea that he kind of switches roles in life. He kind of sees his life from a different perspective if things were to play out differently. He goes from, in the beginning of the movie, being a very successful, rich businessman who's alone to marrying the girl that he was in a relationship with in high school, having kids, living in a suburban house and going to a regular job, having to scrape the bottom of the barrel to get by. The fact of kind of swapping those roles. Also, Don Cheadle coming in and playing sort of the token, the angel character like in It's a Wonderful Life, who sort of showed him his different life that he wished to have. There's a lot of that, but he just shows such an emotional range in the movie that shows that he can be a dramatic actor. And the idea that, yeah, it sucked for him early on to lose everything that he had, but then he began to realize that physical possessions, monetary value isn't as important as the relationships you build. I'm rambling, but The Family Man is a great movie. It's a great movie. Have you heard of the movie Spotlight from 2015? I have heard of that movie. I haven't seen it, but I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with it winning Best Picture. I believe it won Best Picture. Stranger Boy says, whoa, 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours and 5 minutes. We've been going a while, but I've been having a blast. Um, Nicholas Lloyd says, thanks for answering all my questions, Jaren. Keep up the great work. Thank you for asking them once again. I really appreciate you sticking around. Zane Winder says, this was fun. Yes, it was absolutely fun. I think that's a great segue to say I'm going to end it here. But once again, thank you guys so much for all of your questions. Make sure, if you haven't yet, to leave a like, dislike, whatever you want to on the stream. It all supports. Actually, comment down below anything you have, any other questions you have that I didn't answer in the stream, and I'll try to answer them afterwards. Just thank you guys so much for joining, showing me the support, continuing to ask the questions, engage in the comments. This has been a ton of fun. I've missed doing this, but I can't wait to do more of these very, very soon. If you want me to do one of these at least once a week, let me know. There's a lot of fun content coming to the channel, so stick around for that. Stay tuned for that to see what's coming on. But until next